You know, it was about a month ago we told you how bad the allergy season was going to be this year. Little did we know just how bad.
How many times have you taken your car to the car wash only to come out, it's blanketed in green and yellow again from all the pollen?
Or maybe you want to open your windows and let the nice air come in. But with all of those allergens in the air, are we only causing more harm than good? Here to tell us how much longer it's going to last and how we can get some relief is Dr. Michael Kelleher with Eastern Shore ENT and Allergy Associates. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here.
You know, we have the rain now, but just a couple of days ago, it just seemed like everything was covered in that yellow, nasty pollen. It's a pretty bad season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And what you see, the green and yellow pollen, is the heavier particles that fall to the ground. There's a lot of other pollen in the air that you don't see, so that's kind of an indicator. The couple days of rain, like you said, have helped, but the breezy, dry conditions, really the wind is what makes a big difference, because the trees pollinate and then the wind knocks it into the air. So if you have days where it's kind of flat and rainy, it's a lot better.
So there's good days and bad days.
Absolutely. In fact, this year it's been up and down a bit. Last year, most of March, all of April was very hot, dry, and breezy, so it was actually kind of worse last year. This year we've had a little up and down.
Okay.
So that's good. It seems like this year there's so many allergies that are turning into severe sinus infections. Why is that?
Well, anything that's irritating to the nose, whether it be chemical irritants, allergens, cause congestion in many people, and that leads to your sinuses not being able to ventilate and drain properly. So there's no question that allergenicity and pollen-related nasal allergens are a predisposing factor to sinus infections. But having said that, not all congestion is necessarily an infection. Many times people do have colds or allergies or other things that are not necessarily bacterial, and that antibiotics aren't necessarily going to help all the time.
Now you say the best way to not have allergy reactions is just to avoid them altogether, but we actually have, you know, like those plug-in things that air fresheners, they can actually irritate us.
True. Plug-in things or aerosol sort of air fresheners are potentially chemical irritants. They probably aren't really allergens, but they can be irritating to your nose. So although they may smell good, they may not be too helpful. As far as your indoor environment goes, the most effective treatment is to close your windows, use air conditioning to try to avoid the influx of pollen, and also room air filters are very helpful that you can buy, HEPA filters and things like that you can buy at Kmart and Walmart and places like that.
And they actually pull the allergens out of the air?
Right. They have a fairly dense filter system that pulls a lot of small particulate matter out, including dust and animal danders, but they do require that you change the filter frequently.
Well, it's springtime. We're all going outside. Lots of fun things to do. I think just about every Little League has had their opening day. If not already, they will soon. So we go out, we play, we come back in, and we're still suffering from the allergies. Is there something we can do from going outside to coming inside that'll help that?
Sure. The number one pollen magnet is probably your hair, as well as your clothes. So if you're outside at the Little League game or gardening or doing whatever you're doing, when you come in, it's a good idea to change your clothes. If you have the opportunity to do it, take a shower. Or at least try to get your hair a little bit cleaned out, because that's going to be where a lot of it resides. Also, animals, if you have pets, cats, dogs, particularly dogs, if they're outside, they're going to do the same thing. And so if you take either bathe them, but I mean you can't bathe a dog every day, but a wet towel just to kind of get some of that heavy pollen out is going to be helpful.
Wipe them down.
Yeah. Now we're doing a lot of spring cleaning, and there's a lot of products out there that say that they can reduce allergens and things like that. Is it better to dust, or I mean use those products, or just wipe it away?
It's probably better to mechanically dust and to remove as much dust and residue of pollen as possible. I think some of the products may keep it down to a certain degree, but again, filters and cleaning are probably the best option.
So allergies, people fighting with them, get a lot of over-the-counter stuff, treatments and things. How do we know when we can stop with the over-the-counter stuff?
Well, first of all, the symptoms. Quite frankly, antihistamines, whether it be the over-the-counter things that we buy, if you have a day like today and yesterday where there's not a lot of activity in the air, you might not be as symptomatic, and therefore you might not have to take them. The other end of the spectrum is if you're finding that whatever you're taking isn't really helping, then either they're just ineffective, or you might not be dealing with an allergen. You might be dealing with a respiratory tract infection or a cold or even a sinus infection.
Right, right. Any indication on how much longer this bad allergy season's going to be?
Well, typically trees pollinate from late February into May, and they range from the fruit trees, and then so we're nearing the latter stages where we'll tend to see probably the abating the pollen in mid to late May. But then we have the grass season, which comes from probably late April through June when the grasses dry out. So if you're purely a tree sufferer, you have a little light at the end of the tunnel here, but the grasses are still in
But
play.
if you're a grass sufferer, it's the train coming down the tunnel. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Dr. Kelleher, thank you so much for the wonderful information.
Thank you.
It's great having you here. Now, if you'd like more information from Eastern Shore ENT and Allergy Associates on how to manage your allergies, go to DelmarvaLife.com, click on the Show tab. It's on the left side of our homepage now. Well, still to come on Delmarva Life, we all know how important it is to take care of our teeth, but when should you start? We're going to find out when we should start taking our little ones to the dentist. Plus, getting the kids to brush their teeth isn't always easy. We've got some tips on how you can make brushing a pleasant experience.
And later, cool cocktails. We speak with the modern mixologist to find out what drink trends are hot for the summer season.
But first, we just touched on allergies. What if your body breaks out in an allergic reaction to something? Dr. Oz has more on what you should do.
Contact dermatitis is associated with blisters, redness, and itching caused by a direct toxin or allergic reaction. It often leaves you wondering, how did I get this? To figure out what triggered the condition, be a detective. Ask yourself, did I make a recent change in soap, laundry detergent, new jewelry, or perfume? And if so, remove the potential trigger and hopefully you'll no longer be affected.